Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where today I'm gonna bring you in on my creation, the start of my creation, the start of my journey back into Middle-earth strategy battle game with my dream army. So this isn't necessarily going to be the first army that I finish. I have a sizable amount of Rohan to build, many thanks, or in part thanks to the new starter set. But we have a brand new edition of Middle-earth strategy battle game, and I want it to be something that is heavily featured and definitely in rotation for this channel. And honestly, I needed an excuse to buy some Rangers of the North because I've always loved these models. I have never owned these models. They are, as you can see, this screenshot was taken at time of recording the 30th of March 2025. 6 miniatures, £37.50. Even for me, as someone who is stupid when it comes to things they love, that's expensive, very pricey. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I got a £10 voucher from Games Workshop for some reason. Don't know why, it just appeared in my inbox. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to order some Rangers of the North. £10 off, £27.50. I think I can live with that for... I don't know how many of these models I'm going to need. And in all honesty, before we get into the rest of the slides, I think I'm only going to have 6 of these models because these are all different poses. If I start getting another box or another couple of boxes, you're going to get into repeat models, which is fine for rank and flank. It's fine for big numbers of infantry. But when it's Ranger of the North or the Dunedain, Aragorn's kinsmen, you kind of want them to have a little bit more individuality than that. So that's my justification for not buying any more. But these, I ordered them, I thought on a whim, yeah, why not? I got them sent to my local Warhammer store, I popped in. The manager there, he's fantastic. He's a Lord of the Rings fan as well, so he was like, oh, what have you got? Oh, I've got some Rangers of the North. Oh, cool, what are they? Well, it was this beautiful, nondescript blue box, old box. This is, doesn't even mention War of the Rohirrim, but this is fresh off the shelves of the Warhammer world. Well, I guess it's probably right in the back of the warehouse because I believe these were a special made to order run back in November or December, and they've still been available up until about 3 weeks ago. Pretty glad I got them when I did actually, because they've sold out since then. But it was this box and my excitement was building until I opened it and realized how bendy metal was. But I am not disheartened. This is why this part is called cleanup. But yeah, this is more of a review before we get into actually what we're doing with this. So you get your 6 slaughter bases, round 25mm slaughter bases. They're going in the bin. But you know, it's a nice reminder of the nostalgic hit of this hobby game. And then 6 very metal, slightly bent, but nicely detailed miniatures. That's a slightly closer look of the jumble of parts that was my Rangers of the North. Having fished them out, and there's a slaughter base for nostalgic reasons, and having fished them out, as you can see, they are slightly bent, quite a lot of flashing on them, not excessive from what I remember metal models being, but I haven't touched a metal model in over 20 years probably at this point. No, it's probably about 20 years since I've cleaned up a metal model. But they honestly, they weren't that bad. They're all in one piece. And it was time to get them cleaned up. Just a quick shot here of a couple of my favorites. I love this guy, that frontal pose as if he's leading or about to lead a charge or order a volley or something. With his spear there and then his bow tucked behind him. And there's something about a ranger in leather armor with a cloak and a hood up, ready to fire a bow. I love archers, I love rogues, rangers, that kind of, I've always just adored that kind of character in a fantasy setting. Don't know why. If you give me a bow, you give me a cloak, give me a character who can find their way around the wilderness. Basically, I watched Lord of the Rings. Aragorn had a profound impact on me that now all I want to be is a ranger or a rogue or something with a cool bow that can do cool tricks, and that's kind of become my archetype for a fantasy character in a lot of what I do. So yeah, this is one of my favorite models, and I do have, while this is Middle-earth stuff, I also have plans on switching up some of these. But that was cool. It was actually nice to see them, and then the cleanup started. Back to the video, where do you think I got that idea from? Honestly, it wasn't too bad. So these are not done. As you can see, a lot of the flashing, I think I've got all of the flashing. I've started to sand down a few of the little bits. I need my other file just to get in. There's quite a lot of mole lines on them that I need to figure out how to just lightly get rid of them. If you've got any tips, drop them in the comments, because I'm sort of lost. I don't want to play too hard, but you can see down here that one at the bottom right there, there's a very, very thick mold line along there. A couple on these spears actually. And there's a few on the bows. I don't want to go too hard because I have a tendency of snapping fine little metal things from Lord of the Rings miniatures. But we've started the cleanup. I haven't got enough time before I go away to finish them completely, but hopefully the next video will actually be them fully cleaned, primed, ready to go. Maybe even part 2 is just, here's the first 6 done, this is what we're going to do next, because I haven't quite figured out. This is slightly rules dependent because I'm waiting on what they'll actually do, how they can actually run. I have an idea. I'm thinking Pelennor Fields kind of vibe. That's the big conflict that they were in Return of the King. But maybe some Army of the Dead, obviously running around with Aragorn. We will need Halbarad and the Banner of the Arwen-Star. Probably Legolas and Gimli, but it's going to be a very expensive, low model army. Probably not a very good one, in all honesty, but this is just what I want to do. It's how I write my armies. I don't write good things, I write cool things. Probably things that only I find cool. So that's the start of our journey, and there's just a few more closer up shots there. You can see some of the filing things that need to just tweak some of the more lines and stuff. We can sort all that out at some point. But that's the start of my Rangers of the North / Dunedain army. I have a couple of models from the Middle-earth, just standard Rangers of Middle-earth. I think they're called the plastic kit. The problem with them is most of them look like Rangers of Gondor, and that's not an aesthetic that I want to have for these, but there's the odd one that will work, and they have a similar sort of split in their leather armor. I don't know what that bit's called. It hangs over the chainmail, but they are fundamentally, they're a very different design to represent a very different thing. There is models for Dunedain. I don't like those models, so I don't want to spend £37.50 on picking them up. There is also models for True Grey Company. I never liked those either. It was just these. These just fitted that perfect Dunedain wanderer vibe that I always imagined. I know that they're not in the films, but when I was reading the book, this kind of embodies that. So this is the start, but it might be that we only take 6 or 8 and you're very limited with how many you can take of these because they're effectively heroes. Not quite as powerful as, I mean, are they captain level? They might be captain level, I'm not entirely sure. They're a lower defense. With a chainmail, I think they're probably going to be around defense 5. They'll have a decent fight value, but they're probably just captains. But having a detachment of captains running around is probably quite strong when they can all shoot, fight, and then the spears can back each other up as well. We'll see. this is going to be interesting because we're playing it blind. We're still waiting, and this is one of the reasons why I'm desperately waiting Armies of Middle-earth. Because at that point we'll know what we can do, and until then my best bet is probably build these, paint these, get the bases done. I've got the 3 hunters that we can look at as well. I've got them to build and they will be part of this. Like I say, this isn't going to be a great army, it's not going to be a tournament winning. I'm not building a meta list. I just want to play and have fun with characters that I love, and that's what I'm doing with these. But let me know what you think. Am I being stupid? I'll be honest, I was a bit surprised. I wasn't surprised, I knew they were metal, but I was just a bit surprised how much I'd forgotten about how annoying metal can be. I will be picking iron filings out of my fingertips for probably the next week. But let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.